Good afternoon, you guys. It's your boy Ben Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the basketball community. If you want more basketball content, tune in to Basketball Conversations every Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Time. This is where we discuss basketball-related topics, news, debates, and everything else in the world of basketball. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to get all the latest notifications when I start dropping videos and live streams. And please spread the word about the channel as well. If you want to donate any money to the value of this channel, I will post in the PayPal and Cash App links underneath the description box if you wanted to contribute anything to the value of this channel. So, I've been thinking about what's been going on for the last week or so in the aftermath of Mr. Kendrick Perkins' a little emotional rant on ESPN First Take. Excuse me. And I asked myself this question because apparently there have been some people pushing back and kind of siding with Kendrick Perkins about basically what he was pretty much saying in the aftermath of when Kevin Durant basically called him a sellout. And I asked myself this question: why do people listen to clowns like Kendrick Perkins on these debate shows? And I'll tell you why. The reason why I believe a lot of them listen to these guys is because they believe the same kind of, propaganda stuff that a lot of these networks like to push out every single day. It's always a love affair with certain athletes that they love to build on the most, because without them, they don't get no content, they get no viewership, they don't get any views or any ratings on their specific shows. Why do you think they like to talk about LeBron James, Tom Brady, the Dallas Cowboys a lot every single time? Why is that? It's because it draws out ratings for them. And people that have been part of these organizations for the longest of times will get most likely the opportunities to get a lot of these kind of jobs. Now, what I talked about in my last video, on Friday, I said about how these kind of analysts get these kind of jobs. And I pretty much said it's as simple as this. They go through a broadcasting counseling course that the NBA provides for them, for a lot of these retired players, okay? And it's basically like an 18-month course where you basically are taught how to, conduct yourself and how to, enter in the world of broadcasting. If you want to be a play-by-play analyst, basically want to be a color analyst or studio analyst. And there's no doubting that Kendrick Perkins basically went to those kind of courses without a college degree and pretty much got into those courses and got one of those big-time jobs that a lot of people like myself would even dream of getting. But here's where I think a lot of them are basically, are basically frauds in this case. They speak from a huge biased perspective that basically tries to capture and try to manipulate the minds of the casual people. If you're not studied into a lot of the stuff that's going on in basketball, like me, Ticket, Two Raw, LB, and a lot of them other dudes that do their due diligence studying the sport, you get lost in a lot of the propaganda, okay? It's almost an equivalent to what you see in old media in boxing, okay? When you don't listen to what's really going on in boxing, you fall into the trap a lot of what the mainstream media tries to tell you to, and you regurgitate some of those talking points. And a lot of times, a lot of the talking points that they would say are basically lies most of the time. And so it's no different to what you see on First Take, Undisputed, or whatever debate show you may see. And they all come from a biased perspective. And let's be real, all media has biases. And I would bet you even $100 that you would say that this person is biased, and I would be a rich man. Okay, listen, a lot of these shows, the top two shows like Undisputed and First Take, they're basically shows that regurgitate, it's the same talking points every week. And over time, when you keep watching them shows, you think to yourself, why am I watching these shows? Because it's basically boring, and they regurgitate some of the same talking points, and they try to do different things to try to capture the casual viewers. That's why I stopped watching them shows, during my junior year in college, because it became to a point where it just got so boring that they were not talking about different subjects. They don't have different type of creativity, or if they do have the same creativity, they fall into the same lap of the same subject because they only care about viewership and also ratings. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day. And people like Kendrick Perkins are no exception to that. All right. And what Kendrick Perkins pretty much said was just pretty much an embarrassing moment. You don't go on television and basically, lash out emotionally, because listen, you have done the same kind of things to other players all the time. little side jabs, little side, disses in between that. And it's like, bro, why do you think a lot of the NBA players don't respect you? Because they look at you as a snitch. That's what it is, bro. Now, there's a two type of ways to view it this, okay? A snitch is basically somebody that's been telling something behind your back or spilling some secrets and nobody should even know about. That's snitching, okay? Now, what's not snitching is basically telling the people what happened basically in a crime scene to try to figure out who committed the crimes. So that way your neighborhood is safe. That's not snitching, all right? And don't try to debate on that with me. But my point is this. They love to listen to people like this because they want to believe in the perception of what their favorite athlete is instead of looking at the facts for themselves and coming up with their own judgment in hand. Okay, I told you many times. I said that LeBron James is one of the great players of all time, but in terms of the GOAT status, he falls short completely off the map. If you ask me do I have him in my top 5, I don't. I have him top 10, maybe at around 6 and 7. But other than that, I can't go any higher or lower because LeBron has had holes in his resume that a lot of these networks and a lot of these analysts do not like to touch upon. I still hold LeBron, in major resentment against him for how he performed in the 2011 NBA Finals. 4 straight games, he scored 4 points or less in the fourth quarter in the NBA Finals, and you're supposed to be the greatest player in the history of the game. I'm sorry, bro. I can't let that slide because great players step up in the biggest stage. We've seen Jordan do it. We've seen Magic do it. We've seen Kobe do it. We've seen Shaq do it. Olajuwon and plenty more. And this guy comes in there thinking that it was going to be an easy gig to win his first championship and got hit rock bottom when it didn't happen. That's what really took place in 2011. Okay. And you notice that a lot of them do not like to talk about it because that it's gonna hit them to their core and it goes against what they're basically talking about in terms of what they believe in LeBron James. That's what it is, though. I don't care if they're paid for. It's irrelevant. The point is, people like Kendrick Perkins need to be ignored. All right. You can't, every time you let this guy speak his mind and take anything that he says personally, you lose more energy and because he's trying to manipulate you. That's what he does. You know what I mean? If I were saying that to Kendrick Perkins right now, he would not like to talk to me because I would hit him with the cold hard facts and I would hurt his feelings. And I don't care if he would like it or not. That's just the facts. Okay. And the fact that this guy likes to do diss comments to other players that are basically threats to LeBron James only buffers to the point about how a lot of these players do not like Kendrick Perkins. That's just the facts of the matter. And so guys like the Ryan Hollins, the Damon Jones, they're all clowns. You know what I mean? Every time you hear them speak, it's like pure. They're just toxic to the network. And it's only a matter of time before when ESPN starts doing a lot of their cuts, that a lot of those guys won't be on the job for far too long. It's happened before, and I bet you certainly it will happen again. And so I don't know if Kendrick Perkins would be that person that could get cut, but if I were basically running ESPN, I would be thinking about seriously firing him. You know what I mean? Because of the things that he would say. I'm telling you right now, it's only a matter of time before he says something really controversial to the point where the network's going to have no choice but to let him go. Trust me. It won't happen now, but trust me. You just keep listening. You just keep biding your time. He's going to say something really outlandish that's going to get him in hot water, and he won't be able to get out of it. So, and the other thing, too, is when Kobe Bryant died back in January, he pretty much said, I'm not going to discuss anything. I'm not going to disrespect Kevin Durant again. Then you turn around and you do the same exact thing to both KD and Kyrie. So all he does is just basically, he says that he's sorry, but it's just actually a fake apology. And he tries to post these crocodile tears to all of you to try to fool you. So I would just tell him straight up, bro, save your tears. All right. You don't mean your apology. You don't mean anything you say. You meant what you said, because if you didn't meant what you said, you never would have said it. And so I'm glad that KD called him a sellout because it really that's what he's been acting. And that's exactly who he is. So that's why if you like to listen to the kind of people like him, you basically align to what his agenda is and what he really truly feels about life. And so I have no interest of hearing him whatsoever. The only time I will ever address him is he says more outlandish stuff that he's going to say down the line. But if you ask me, do I care for him personally? Nope, I don't. He don't affect my life, and neither should yours. So That's pretty much my 2 cents about that, though. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section.